All right, everyone. The time has come. It is happening. You guys, I just wanted to say big thank you for coming alongside of us and supporting Locality Youth. We have raised our goal of over $1,000. Yeah, thanks to you guys. And now I guess I have to uphold my side of the bargain, which is to chop the mullet. I'll give you one last look at all its mullety glory. So, our largest donor was actually from out of town, so my wife Hunter gets the honors of snipping the mullet. So let's. Yep. Nervous. Nervous.
Okay, you ready?
No.
I'm gonna go. Hopefully these scissors work.
I know.
Oh my god. No.
Oh no! Well, there you have it, folks.
It's a mini mullet.
Still a mini mullet, but thanks again. Rest in peace. Appreciate you all. Go Locality Youth. Yeah, I guess that's all for now. See ya.
In just one word, you calm the storm that surrounds me. In just one word, the darkness has to retreat. In just one touch, I feel the presence of heaven. In just one touch, my eyes are open to see. My heart can't help but believe. There's nothing that our God can't do. There's not a mountain that He can't move. Oh, praise the name that makes a way. There's nothing that our God can't do. Just one word, you heal what's broken inside me. In just one word, and you revive every dream. In just one touch, I feel the power of heaven. In just one touch, my eyes are open to see. My heart can't help but believe. There's nothing that our God can't do. There's not a mountain that He can't move. Oh, praise the name that makes a way. There's nothing that our God can't do. There's nothing that our God can't do. There's not a prison wall He can't break through. Oh, praise the name that makes a way. There's nothing that our God can't do. Oh. I will believe for greater things. There's no power like the power of Jesus. Let faith arise, let all agree. There's no power like the power of Jesus. I will believe for greater things. There's no power like the power of Jesus. Let faith arise, let all agree. There's no power like the power of Jesus. I will believe for greater things. There's no power like the power of Jesus. Let faith arise, let all agree. There's no power like his power. There's nothing that our God can't do. There's not a mountain that he can't move. Oh, praise the name that makes a way. There's nothing that our God can't do. Oh, there's nothing that our God can't do. There's not a prison wall he can't break through. Oh, praise the name that makes a way. There's nothing that our God can't do. Oh, sing, oh, 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 oh. There's nothing, there's nothing, there's nothing. Sing, oh, oh, oh. That our God can do, yeah.
So Everly walked into the room and she's holding her doctor's kit and she looks at me and says, "Dad, you don't look so good." And said, "Dad, I think you need a doctor." I said, "Man, I don't feel so good. Good thing I know a doctor." And so she comes running over and she runs her test. She gives me some medicine and then she goes, So I ask her, "Everly, what is it?" And she looks at me and says, "Dad, you're not gonna make it, and there's nothing that I can do." And then she just walks out of the room. For a split second, I'm thinking, that's kind of somber, and I'm curious who taught her that. And then I think, what if God is actually trying to tell me something, that my time is short, and my perspective completely shifts to it for a moment, right? Like, I want us to understand, we are a product of our perspective. The thing that gets our focus and our attention ultimately gets our heart. But we're told that we have a God who desires for us to be thankful, to be filled with gratitude. Or another way to say it is, our life struggle end where our gratitude begins. Right? Has 2020 shaped out at all like you thought it would? Think of all the things that we've missed. We've missed graduations and proms and funerals. We're now doing weddings in backyards and over Zoom. This year did not go how we thought it would, but at the end of the day, there's still 10% of this year left, and we can choose what our perspective is going to be on it, right? That can be a very depressing thought, or you can say, hey, we still have 10% this year and something great can happen. And when you look back at this year, what do you want to remember? Do you want to look back and say, you know what, this was a weird year, but I got a lot more time with my family. Or I realized there are some things that matter to me that I didn't even realize how important they were, but 2020 allowed me to see that. We can change our perspective, and when we do, it changes everything for us. And today I want to talk about the idea that thankful people are generous people. Winston Churchill has this great quote where he says, we make a living by what we get, but we make a life by what we give. We're going to talk about generosity because thankful people are generous people. And the reason I know that is because we have a God who is generous. And so today we're going to go through a bunch of Bible verses talking about this idea of generosity. And the first one is Psalm 105. For God is sheer beauty. He is all generous in love, loyal always and ever. Psalm 145:16 says, He is generous to a fault. You lavish your favor on all creatures. And Romans 10:11-13 says, Scripture reassures us, no one who trusts God like this, heart and soul, will ever regret it. It's exactly the same no matter what a person's religious background may be, the same God for all of us, acting the same incredibly generous way to everyone who calls out for help. For everyone who calls, help God gets help. And in Deuteronomy 15:10-11, it says, give freely and spontaneously. Don't have a stingy heart. The way you handle matters like this triggers God. You're God's blessing in everything you do, all your work and ventures. There are always going to be poor and needy people among you, so I command you, always be generous. Open purse and hands. Give to your neighbors in trouble, your poor and hurting neighbors. Now, I don't think any of us are stingy, but we all know someone who is. And there's something about stingy people, you don't really want to be around them. The verse that we just read, it gives us that command. Always be generous, open purse and hands. But what does it actually look like? This idea of having an open heart and not a stingy heart. You know, it looks like someone who has a desire to help others, to make certain that those that come around, their needs are met. You know, that's been a key part of who Locality has been. We have met so many needs over these years because you guys have been generous. You know, this idea of an open hand is the idea of giving of your time, your gifts, and your money to help others. That's exactly who we've been as a church. We have stepped up and volunteered and met needs. It's been incredible to see. Isaiah 32 verse 8 says, "But generous people plan to do what is generous. They stand firm in their generosity," right? So generosity, it doesn't just happen. It's not something that it's like, oh, I'll get there sometime. But generosity is something that we have to plan on doing and being. So a simple question today is, have you planned to be generous? Have you actually taken that time to live generously and make sure that's gonna be a part of who you are? And so I wanna talk about, what does it look like? I think there's a few things. The first idea is we live for the yes. You know, I know they say don't surround yourself with yes people because all you get is people that are rubber stamping everything. You're not getting true information. And that may be true in the business world. I think a lot of us, we need yes people in our lives and we need to become yes people. So what do I mean? You know, when someone shares their dream and their vision, I want us to be people that step in and say, hey, before you say anything else, I'm in. Because I believe in you. I've got your back. I am in. You know, we're sitting around, I love asking people, you know, what's the dream? Where do you want to be? What's the thing in their heart that you have a desire for? And I love talking to those people and saying, I'm going to do whatever I can to help that dream become real. Because I know that in my own life, I've had so many yes people in my life. You know, I've had crazy dreams and they've said yes because we believe in you. And when I was 25, we moved to California with this crazy idea that we were going to start a church. We had no idea what it was going to look like, where we were going to meet, or that we'd be online for 8 months. But Gail and Terry came up to me on a Sunday morning before I ever got to share the vision of what Locality would be. And they said, we just want you to know that we are in. Gail and Terry were Locality's first yes people. But then our group, it grew. People bought into the vision that God had and said, we are in. Yes, we are in. We want to see this flourish. We want to see this thrive. And our group of core people, it grew. Now, the thing that's crazy to me about this core group of yes people was that when I went through church planting training, they told me that I needed to be prepared to lose every single person who was a part of that core group within the first year, because it's just a natural thing that your core group tends to disband as the church gets going. But here we are today, 5 years from when Gail and Terry said, we are in. And to that day, our original group of yes people are still with us today. And that's crazy. All of them are still here. And it's not because I'm some great leader, but instead they saw God's vision and they said, yes, I am in. I am in no matter what it takes. I have loved to see how person after person has come to the Locality, has come along and said, yes, I am in. So who or what are you saying yes to? You know, are you a yes person to those around you? How amazing would it be if we could all learn to say yes? That we naturally our thoughts go to, well, that's not going to work. And so we look for all the reasons to say no. But what if we looked for the reasons to say yes and found ways to help other people? You know, the second thing we need to learn is we need to continually sow seeds. You know, when we're generous, it's easy to give to a need because we see an instant return. But what if we thought greater and we think, you know, I'm gonna be generous with my seeds. I'm gonna give to something that it won't have a return for a while from now. But there someday will be a great harvest, because when we give little, God can do great things later. You know, Luke 6 tells us, don't pick on people, don't jump on their failures, don't criticize their faults, unless of course you want the same treatment. Don't condemn those who are down, the hardness can boomerang. Be easy on people, you'll find it a lot easier. Give away your life. You'll find life given back, but not merely given back with a bonus and blessing. Giving, not getting, is the way, for generosity begets generosity. What would it look like if we gave away our life? That we said, yes, I am all in, that I am going to be generous, and I am going to give and see what God can do. Because we realize it's not about me, but it's about investing in something that is greater than us and something that'll bring about a greater return than we ever could imagine. The third thing about generosity I think is important is when we are generous, we attract people to God. And I'm gonna be honest, I don't think there's anything more attractive than generosity. You know, you can't help but want to be around people who are generous. And I'm pretty sure that is the only way that Kelsey fell in love with me, because I was a generous person and she was attracted to that. Besides my good looks, of course. You know, in Matthew 5:14-16, it says, here's another way to put it. You're here to be the light, bringing out the God colors in this world. God is not a secret to be kept. We're going public with this, as public as a city on a hill. If I make you light bearers, you don't think that I'm gonna hide you under a bucket, do you? I'm putting you on a light stand. Now I've put you there on a hilltop, on a light stand, shine. Keep open house, be generous with your lives. By opening up to others, you'll prompt people to open up with God, this generous Father in heaven. When we open up to others, when we are generous with others, you prompt them to open up with God. This is the whole purpose. You know, why has God given us more? The more isn't for us. You have more so you can be generous, because when we are generous, we are a light in an increasingly dark world, and there is nothing more attractive than generosity. But the last thing that I want to talk about is when we're generous, we receive more than we can imagine, but that's not the point. We don't do things so God will bless us, but we see throughout scriptures the God who pours out his blessing on those who are generous to others. One of my favorite verses out of Proverbs is Proverbs 11:24-25, and this is what it says. The world of the generous gets larger and larger, but the world of the stingy gets smaller and smaller. The one who blesses others is abundantly blessed, and those who help others are helped. Like, as you give, as you are generous, your world and your perspective, it gets more influential and bigger. But as you get stingy, your world gets smaller and smaller. So why do we give? It's not so we can get more, but it's so we can raise our standard of giving. You know, what would it look like with the 10% of the year that we have left, that we said, God, I am all in on this generosity. Yes, I am, that I'm gonna plan to be generous, because I know that what you've given me is not all for me, but it's so I can be a blessing to this world. Because as you give, your world gets bigger, your influence gets bigger, your heart gets bigger, your call gets bigger, your influence in the lives of those who are far from God gets deeper. Life gets different. You experience life in a completely different way when you are generous. So I have a challenge. Will you all join me for what's left of this year, and will we examine our hearts with a simple question? Am I generous? Am I planning to be generous? Am I? Because I believe that we are generous, but what would it look like if we leaned into it even more and we became more and more like him as we become more and more generous? Amen.
You are here, you're moving in our midst. I worship you, I worship you. You are here, you're working in this place. I worship you, I worship you. You are here, you're moving in our midst. I worship you, I worship you. 'Cause you are here, you're working in this place. I worship you, I worship you. 'Cause you are Waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. 'Cause you are Waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. And you are here, you're touching every heart, and I worship you, I worship you. You are here, you're healing every heart, and I worship you, I worship you. 'Cause you are here, you're turning lives around, and I worship you, I worship you. 'Cause you are here, you're mending every heart, and I worship you, and I worship you, yeah. 'Cause you are waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness, my God, that is who you are. 'Cause you are waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness, my God, that is who you are. 'Cause you are waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness, my God, that is who you are. 'Cause you are waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness, my God, that is who you are. Oh, that is who you are, and that is who you are. Oh, that is who you are, that is who you are. Oh, that is who you are, yeah, that is who you are. Oh, that is who you are, that is who you are. 'Cause you are waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness, my God, that is who you are. You are waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness, my God, that is who you are. Even when I don't see it, you're working. Even when I don't feel it, you're working. You never stop working. You never stop working. Even when I don't see it, you're working. Even when I don't feel it, you're working. You never stop working. You never stop working. 'Cause even when I don't see it, you're working. Even when I don't feel it, you're working. You never stop working. You never stop working. 'Cause even when I don't see it, you're working. Even when I don't feel it, you're working. You never stop working. You never stop. 'Cause you are waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness, my God, that is who you are. 'Cause you are waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness, my God, that is who you are. Oh, that is who you are. Oh, that is who you are. That is who you are. That is who you are. Oh, that is who you are. That is who you are. Oh, that is who you are. That is who you are.
As you go about your week, may the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. May the Lord go before you to lead you, behind you to protect you, beneath you to be your firm foundation, and beside you so you may know that you are never alone. And may he be above you to shower you with his grace. Do not be afraid, for the Lord your God goes with you always. Amen.